of the WHAM staff coming in for election coverage. It'll be Dr. Dave Jando will be there. I'll be on the radio. We'll have Pat and Angie Colbeck on and a whole assortment of other staff and some interviews and candidates calling in. So Monday and Tuesday, 9 to 11, check in with us. Don't go to those other stations. Check in with us because we're going to do some special election coverage. Make sure you call in if you have some questions for any of the people that are going to be on that day. And right now we have 7th District Michigan Congressman Tim Walberg on the show. Tim, welcome to the show.
Good to be with you, and it's getting close, isn't it?
It is getting very close, Tim. I'm hoping I can sleep well on Wednesday or Tuesday night.
Well, probably those of us who are red-blooded Americans that understand the greatness of the American idea, we sleep well all the time because we've done our best, and we believe in America, and we push for the right things, but I hope we sleep with a large smile on our face that we've taken America back.
Yeah. Well, Tim, let's cut right to you and try and get this out of the way. I'm voting for you because you are against TPP, correct?
That's correct.
And if we want to keep jobs at home, I think we need to have trade deals. I don't like any of those broad-based, comprehensive things. That's just me. I prefer, you know what, I believe in doing things one small step at a time because I think it gets done well when you do it that way. But I'm glad that you are not supporting TPP and that you're going to go after trying to find ways to keep our people employed and to help keep taxes down. Talk to me a little bit. Gretchen Driscoll has been bashing you about about offshoring trade. And she is what? A hand-picked Pelosi confidant, right?
Hand-picked Pelosi. In fact, they moved the expected candidate out in order to put her in, jumped her in 3 weeks after I was sworn in last election. And she talks about things that she doesn't know. She talks about TPA as if it were a trade deal when, in fact, it was put in place so that we could do exactly what we've done. Find out what is in the trade deal, and then if we liked it, vote for it. If not, oppose it. And on the basis of that, I've been able to see what is in the trade deal. And, oh, by the way, every citizen in the United States could go online and read those the TPP, in this case, or TTIP that they're negotiating now as well, and decide for themselves whether they like it. So when you have a candidate like that comes out opposed to something before she's even read it, you have to say, well, you might be right by mistake, or by luck, but do you really know it? And I think I've been given the responsibility to know what I'm voting on and to help educate people to what the issues are and then listen to people with their response. So, yeah, we're talking about the normal Democrat liberal approach that says tell the people everything they want to hear, but then do what you want to do after you're elected. And that's not the way it ought to be.
Right. And the other thing that I've liked about you, Tim, too, because you've been with this from the very beginning, you've been very against Obamacare. Tell us again how many times the House of Representatives has voted to get rid of Obamacare.
Well, we voted to replace, repeal, fix, repair over 40 times. I forget the exact number. We voted, I believe it's 8 times to repeal it. The 8th, we got it to the president's desk under the reconciliation tool, and that's an only one-time, one-shot opportunity. It only happens when you have control of both houses, or at least the ability to get the reconciliation bill to the president, and, of course, he vetoed it. But we showed what could happen if we had a Donald Trump in office and were able to get a repealer bill to the President Trump. He's already said he will sign it. He won't veto it. He'll sign it.
Yep.
And then we can go back and fix our broken healthcare system and put in place a patient-centered, competition-based approach that gives the choice to each of us in concert with our healthcare providers to decide what we need and what we're going to pay for and what insurance plan we're going to buy.
Right. And I hate to be the guy that says, I told you so. But you know what, Tim? I want you to listen to this because this is the biggest I told you so to the American public ever. Derek, you got track 5 ready? Run this real quick so Tim can hear it.
Americans checking out Obamacare plans for next year may be seeing significantly higher retail prices on average than before. Federal health officials say the average premium for certain types of Obamacare plans are set to increase by an average of 25% throughout 39 states served by healthcare.gov. Although the overwhelming majority of Obamacare customers do qualify for financial aid, others who don't could experience some sticker shock. The highest premium hike of 116% rise will be in Arizona, where, for example, a 27-year-old who doesn't qualify for financial aid goes from paying $196 a month for benchmark plans this year to $422 a month for the same type of plan next year. The bottom line could be a bit painful looking ahead to 2017.
Okay, so Tim, 116% increase in Arizona. Thank God we don't live in Arizona.
Yeah, in Oklahoma as well. But we live in Michigan, and we're seeing an average about 17% increase in Michigan. But I've already met people in my district, one gentleman from Eaton County, who had a 63% increase in his health care plan, and he wasn't able to keep the same provider. I mean, this is ridiculous. And we said all along that Obamacare or the Unaffordable Care Act was not going to work. It was going to melt down. But sadly, it was going to melt down at about the time this president was going out of office. And that's exactly what's happened. But it's happened early enough that I hope the American people will decide that we cannot go for status quo again. And Hillary Clinton, at the very best, will be status quo. Most likely it would be worse even than Obama. And this is the opportunity to suck it up and say, let's vote for the best tool opportunity to get back to what this country is all about. And that will come by voting for Donald Trump and Mike Pence, and then keeping a Republican majority in the House and the Senate, and moving forward with the plans that people want.
Yeah, this is exactly right. It's not necessarily the man, and I'm going to read something later. I'll close the show out with it, but I'll just say now, I'm not asking people to vote for Trump. I'm asking people to vote to slow or stop immigration. I'm voting, for a tighter, secure border to stop the drugs and violent people from coming here. I'm looking to stop all these H-1Bs that are taking the jobs that we've been retrained from manufacturing for, and now we're bringing in H-1B technical people from India at a cheaper rate than us. That's why I'm voting for Trump. I'm not voting just because I like Donald Trump. I'm voting for what he stands for, and that's the conservative ideals of the Republican Party. He's right on all these core survival issues for the United States.
You're absolutely correct, and I think the thing that people need to understand is if you look at what appointments or suggested appointments Donald Trump has made already, including his vice presidential pick, which was his first pick, not his second, not his third, it was his first pick. And the Supreme Court nominees that he's put out already, that list, are fabulous. And so that says to me, people, let's not look at necessarily the face of the person running for president. Let's look at the president's situation and put the faces of your kids, your grandkids, and your great-grandkids in it. How will they function best? How will they be helped best? And in the future, how will they benefit from the American ideal and free enterprise and in compassionate capitalism, which it truly is, that'll make this country great again and go the right direction. So if you don't like the face of Trump, well, take it out of there. But he's the only tool in the president's box that will do the right thing according to the Constitution and give us the best chance to have a Congress that works again for the people, that drain the swamp and leave some of us who have been working and standing on stilts or using our waders from our duck hunting to give us a chance to do the right thing for America.
Yeah, and right there, when you talk about the SCOTUS picks alone, I mean, it could be one, could be three or four, ultimately over the course of 48 years, Supreme Court justices that could be picked by the next president. And your Second Amendment rights, heck, I firmly believe that if Hillary Clinton is elected within 8 years, our First Amendment rights, the ability for me to get on the show and say the things I've done and say the things I've said for the last 5 years, I don't think we'll be there at the end of 8 years of Hillary Clinton.
Well, just look how far they've gone away from you right now. Even for you to stop and pause and say, I could lose this. And if I said certain things, I could either lose my opportunity to broadcast or I would go to jail. Or I'd be considered a hate speaker. It's ridiculous to think about that here in this country, but it's happened so quickly over the course of these last 8 years. So it is time to change. When I introduced Mike Pence for the rally yesterday, and Mike and I served together, we're good friends. He's a wonderful man. when I introduced him and he got up to speak and he talked about the fact that we were countenancing here in America voting for a lady who has been now put under investigation for criminal offenses, and she's still running for president of the United States. That's absurd. That's unheard of. And yet it is reality right now. And that's where America has to wake up and say, let's put our head on straight and do the right thing for America. Understand that no candidate who is running in any seat, mine included, Gary, is perfect. And yet, what will be best for America? What will move toward its ideals in the best way? And that's where I hope that this coming Tuesday, people will get out to the polls. They'll fill those polling places, and they'll speak for the best interests of America and not the best interests of a party or an individual. And the best interests of America always line up with the best interests of our Constitution.
Yeah. So Tim, tell me what you're hearing, if you can, on the Hill. I don't know if you heard the first half hour of the show, but the NYPD is obviously chomping at the bit to do some arrests after investigating Anthony Weiner's laptop. The 650,000 emails contained, according to these sources, not only classified information, but proof of pay for play from the Clinton Foundation to the State Department when Hillary was there. Some other more serious allegations of possible sick behavior. And I don't want to go into it any more than we already have, because it makes me sick to my stomach. Have you heard anything about the FBI and the DOJ? Are they butting heads? Are they working together? And how does that all play with what the New York Police Department has, because they have their own copies of that laptop?
Yeah, see, I don't know anything about the New York Police Department, but I have had reports coming from friends that have connections with the FBI and also with the Justice Department, that while the Attorney General is trying to do her best to cover up as much as possible and keep it from coming out before the election at the very least, the inner workings of the Justice Department, the inner workings of the FBI, there are people who definitely want to serve the public according to the law and the best interests of law-abiding citizens, and are very, very frustrated with what's going on and perceived only as total politics and political, not games playing, but protection, political protection for the Democrat administration. And again, that's hearsay coming from people who know people in the know, who are in the bowels of those organizations. But it doesn't surprise me at all. And when you see how this presidential candidate, Hillary Clinton, has behaved relative to Benghazi, relative to the email scandals and the server, with total disregard for what the law is, and she should know it, even as other members of Congress know it, like myself. You can only expect that there's more stuff to come, and they're just hoping against all hope that nothing more comes out that would give them greater difficulty in being elected, getting through it, and then figuring out what they're going to do to protect themselves afterwards. Yeah.
And Tim, you sit on one of the committees for the email and the server investigation, right?
Yeah, I'm on Oversight and Government Reform Committee. We've had Comey in front. I cross-examined Comey myself after he came out and said, yeah, she did everything wrong, but we can't prove intent. And it was a frustrating time to hear him say that.
There is so much intent, and the WikiLeaks just reaffirms it right from the get-go. But let me ask you this. Is being on that committee, if you were to receive information directly from sources in the NYPD that has these emails already, instead of waiting for the FBI and the DOJ to give it to you in committee, if a member of the committee, the Oversight Committee, somehow ended up with the information that classified material was on Anthony Weiner's laptop, is that legal for you guys to bring it out and say, listen, this is what it is. It's right here. We have that information. Or does that make you guys culpable?
No, it doesn't make us culpable at all. We have the responsibility to do oversight and investigations. And if we could get that, we would. And in fact, while we were questioning Comey, Jason Chaffetz, our chairman, asked him a question about some material that we had not been able to get, wondered what they had found out. And he said, no, we didn't go that direction because we have to have a request from Congress to go that direction.